everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, Techthusiasm Alive podcast with some big news, some big channel news tonight, some interesting things to talk about. Just basically a little bit of a catch-up, check-in. We'll talk about the big news, some other things that have been going on, some of the other content around the channel, some general home theater news, what's everybody watching, and all that fun stuff. So thanks, folks, for tuning in. Thanks for coming out. If you would, please go ahead and hit the like button on your way in. If you feel inclined to drop a comment, let me know who's out there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you've been doing in your home theater recently. It's been a couple weeks since the last live. The last couple lives, the last couple podcasts have been kind of designated to talking about the JVC projector news that was new as of about a month ago. Still waiting for those units to come out, I think, here, maybe towards a little further into June. We might be seeing those start to ship. I'm not sure what I'm doing yet on those. We'll see what happens there, but it's been a busy couple weeks. Had a wedding anniversary. I got a sick kid here tonight. Big promo at work, taking responsibility for a couple more global engineering teams, basically moving up kind of to the senior level of management, next level of management. So no shortage of occurrences, happenings. I've been hitting the bike, and I ordered something. I know I don't talk about fitness tech a whole lot. We talk more about home theater and audio video tech, but we confirmed our order for a tonal. So maybe I'll end up dropping a review about that. Very excited to get that thing in, get it installed, and get back to weightlifting some more, get some strength training going in early in the morning. So hello, welcome again, everybody. As you're coming in, let me know who's out there. A couple regulars, of course. Julius, hello, my friend. Michael, hello. Hit the like button on the way in, and again, let me know who's out there. So topics for tonight: got some channel news, so we'll be talking about that. The happenings, the occurrences, the expansion really of the Techthusiasm business. Pretty exciting step. Sammy, hello. All a bunch of friends here. Really appreciate all you guys coming to hang out. We'll talk a little bit about other things going on, other content that's been posted. I have some more things edited and scheduled and ready to come. So we haven't gotten into the theater too much lately, but just a little bit. I think I posted the community post some days back, maybe last week. We watched the latest Wonka movie, like the prequel to the Willy Wonka Chocolate Factory. I thought that was pretty good. I think it had the kid from Dune in it. Kind of whimsical, kind of Harry Potter-ish, but the family enjoyed that one. We're continuing our slow march through the MCU, the original MCU, first watch with my kids, basically. And of course, my son and I, in particular, my daughter too, but my son and I were all into the Marvel Comics stuff. So that's been fun. We got Thor, Captain America 1 is up next. They didn't really care for Thor too much, and Thor in the MCU always ended up pretty corny. But I think Cap, and then into Avengers right after that will be some of the highlights coming up. Finished X-Men 97. That was just absolutely fantastic. Probably the best piece of content that I've watched all year, barring not having yet seen Godzilla -1. I'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, X-Men 97. If you have a remote interest in comic books, Marvel universe, although it's not specifically MCU per se, it's a little more out of the classic show from the 90s, but more a little bit comic book inspired. But literally some of the best characterization, some of the best animation, adult-ish storytelling with those characters, certainly ever. The best animated X-Men, or live or animated X-Men content Marvel has ever put out. So that thing finished with a bang. Absolutely loved it. Can't wait for the next seasons to come. I haven't watched the Acolyte yet. I'm kind of debating if I want to jump into a show, what it may be. I still want to kind of blast through Monarch, especially now that Godzilla is kind of all the rage. No pun intended. But the new Star Wars show hit this week as well. I haven't jumped into that yet, but I might have an easier time. I think they're releasing that one episode a week, so I can probably kind of keep up with that a little bit better. We did try to watch Godzilla -1, but unfortunately the remux didn't play correctly. I think there was some Dolby Vision in the remux, and it wasn't working through the video chains that I have. But in the interim, anyway, Godzilla minus one has hit Netflix and it's hit iTunes for $14.99. You can buy it on iTunes. Dolby Atmos. I've seen some conjecture about the Atmos in the English dub is not necessarily the same in all the online, but I'll probably end up picking it up regardless. And I think that's like a perfect movie actually to do a streaming bitrate face off. I haven't checked streaming bit rates in a while, and checking that on all the services that it's available could be quite interesting. We have had Vudu switched over to Fandango now as well. I noticed in my apps, the app on the Apple TV, it's no longer Vudu, it's Fandango at home. So I think this, I probably actually take myself a note, for this, that would be a really great piece of content to do a streaming bitrate check-in on. But super excited to watch that. I wanted to watch it with the family. Be their first foray into kaiju movies and Godzilla movies. I love all that stuff, but they were really hesitant about wanting to watch it because with the disc, essentially because the disc doesn't have an English dub, and the family would be more inclined to want to just watch the dub or watch the movie in English versus watching it subtitled. But we can do that, I think, now with the iTunes release and stuff. So I've been down in the theater a little bit. I was kind of doing some prep and some cleanup work. I took the Chief projector mount down. I debated leaving it there, figuring, well, if I ever have multiple projectors, I'd be able to kind of have two. I could hang one on the mount, and then of course I'd have my permanent one in the closet to do some face-offs or whatnot. But to me, it was looking kind of silly to just keep the mount sitting there visible in the room with nothing hanging on it. So I went ahead and pulled that down. I got a little bit of drywall patching to do. Had to order up some drywall spackle. So I'll plug those holes, sand it, get that painted up nice and black. And I did run one of the videos that I plan to make in relatively short order will be related to now being able to directly compare the JVC NX tone mapping results for HDR against the MadVR Envy. So I had the second HDMI line sitting kind of in the back of the room, but I hadn't pulled it and routed it through behind my curtains and all that stuff, and got it back basically over to the rack. But in conjunction with pulling the ceiling mount down, I did the HDMI run. So my plan is to kind of sit down there for a little while and pull up a bunch of HDR content. And now I should be able to very easily and quickly play the same content or play content basically on the Apple TV, Kaleidescape, whatever. Some of it will route through the MadVR for processing to HDMI 1 on the projector. Some of it will bypass the MadVR either via the receiver or the preamp, or just via the bypass output port on the MadVR itself. And that will be input 2 on the projector. I'll reconfig HDMI 2 to match my former settings for HDMI 1 using the frame adapt, using the theater optimizer, basically all the features of the NX, and playing content, watch some HDR, pause it, and be able to go back and forth between the two inputs on the projector. Will be a direct A/B comparison of HDR processing capability of the JVC versus the MadVR, and then I can roll all of that stuff up. We can talk about it in a future stream, or I could roll it all up into an edited video, most likely, for sure. I'd still like to do a live stream. I haven't done it. I've done a bunch of them in the past, and I think they've always played really well when we've done the deep dives, like with the devices showing up on screen while we're talking. Chris Deering and I, we did the Kaleidescape one, we did the Lumigen one. I'd still really like to do a MadVR one as well, this time hopefully with no blackouts and takedowns, depending on what we're showing. But I can probably get some friends to join in and help host that one. So a bunch of ideas coming up. I did post a video this past Monday, another MadVR one, about sync times, basically, particularly with the Apple TV, being able to put the Apple TV in certain picture setting modes, video setting modes, and then using it in conjunction with the MadVR to the projector, and achieving 0 HDMI sync for video when playing content, presuming what you're playing is in HDR. It makes an improvement as well for the Kaleidescape, but the one thing that the Apple TV can do that Kaleidescape doesn't do is define an HDR menu mode. So rest assured, I sent my friends I sent my friends at Kaleidescape an email this week as well, suggesting that yeah, we really need an HDR always on container mode menu mode for the Strato, and we would be able to achieve zero sync times. My sync times, I don't know if it's the NX specifically, the latter earlier generation projector, but um, without those changes and without those settings, sync times can be up to like 20 seconds, and it's really awkward sitting there in the dark, waiting for a movie to start with friends and family, whatever, for 20 seconds. So it's nice to be able to have the instant syncs, and the course the key to all of that is essentially running your menus in a less than desirable mode to run your menus, running them at 24 frames per second. But then with Motion AI can clean up the jankiness that introduces to the menu system itself. So a Mad VR, very very particular, powerful, and interesting, useful element that having the Mad VR in the system brings to the theater if you want to take advantage of it. So I'm just looking through some comments here. Michael saying, been a good few months for new 4K movies. Yeah, it hasn't bothered me too much. With the advent of spring, uh, well, really, it's almost summertime now, uh, coming in here. We've been really hard challenged to really watch any movies anyway. It's nice outside, though I've been sheltering in place a little bit by virtue of my allergies having kicked in after Mother's Day, but thankfully coming out of that. Scott Murray saying +1 for streaming bitrate comparison. Yeah, yeah. As I was talking about it, it makes total sense. I think Godzilla is a perfect type of movie to do a check in. It's been probably several months actually since I've done one. Um, so about time, and a timely piece of content, and one as well that seems like it would be desirable to pump the quality, right, and make sure that movie looks really good. Terminator asking, with the Mad VR doing all the tone mapping, doesn't it then send to HDR? Correct. That's the way I have it running right now. Is the Mad VR sends BT 2020 SDR to the projector, so that connection is always stable regardless of whatever content is coming in. But if you have frame rate and color space changes in the content, that still forces a negotiation, essentially more so between the source device and the video processor, even though it's stable to the projector, still leading to a similar type of blackout. So by default, right, you um, generally run an Apple TV in a living room anyway, nominally in SDR at 60 hertz for the menus, and then have match dynamic range and match frame rate turned on. And then anytime you start content, when it goes to 24 hertz or it goes to HDR, if that content is HDR, you'd have those changes. Of course, on a flat panel, it takes a second, no big deal. I don't mind that at all. But in a projector, it's in the video, it's 20 plus seconds, I think it was, for my JVC NX7 to sync both of those things when playing something back. So if you can negate both of them, boom, you can turn the sync times down to zero. Yeah, the newer projectors do better. The NP5 is better than my NX7. I think with the NP5 and the NZ generation, sync times are better. That's that'll be one of the nice things about a pending or future projector upgrade. So I kind of have a worst case scenario again with like a last generation unit. But the other thing about it is even still like, and why it's even more important in Kaleidescape, Sammy here. Yeah, HDR cover menu for Kaleidescape would be amazing. Exactly. Especially in the theater nowadays, pretty much almost never watch anything in SDR. We're watching newer content or we're watching older content that most likely nowadays has been updated to 4K HDR. So yeah, we really need an HDR setting, because in Kaleidescape, then you have scenes where you're jumping in and out of things really quickly. But you might watch a minute long scene, but if it takes you 20 seconds or 15 seconds of HDMI syncing to get in the scene, watch the scene, and then 15 seconds out, that's kind of a pain. And then it can also, if you do scripts and then you're showing the cover art and then you're playing the next thing along in the script, it would just be nice to be able to just rip through all of that stuff with no no sinks. So yeah, that's the other thing. So it's funny how they have kind of like opposite capabilities, right? Michael saying I've been trying to find the Apple TV product manager. We need a 240 Apple TV menu. Yep. So Kaleidescape can do the widescreen menu, but not an HDR menu. And Apple can do a HDR menu, but not a widescreen menu. So I guess there's a couple folks out there in California, one from Kaleidescape and one from Apple that need to go have lunch and compare notes probably and share those feature ideas back and forth. Oh yeah, actually, I'll probably be talking about this too. WWDC next week. There was rumors that a new Apple TV was going to be imminent, but the latest rumors that I had saw are that it's not. There's that the last rumor, and take it for what it's worth. Of course, it's all rumors. The last rumor is that there'll be no new hardware at WWC at all, including the Apple TV. So it may be a while, perhaps this fall, before we see a new box. But at a minimum, we'll get to see what they have in mind for tvOS. What'll be 18 or 19. So once again, we'll cross our fingers. We'll wonder if bit rates, quality, or anything like that is something that we will hear about. We'll see if they even talk tvOS, if it just gets relegated to a slide or a marketing slide that comes out actually after the conference, as has been the case occasionally in prior years. So Audio Bites is here. Awesome. Hey guys. Hey folks, loving content lately. Yep, working on the Mad VR stuff. So that was the last one. The other thing that's coming, I have it filmed and it's going to come out, is I've made, over the last few months, I've been playing around with the living room, home theater, PC gaming setup, and I've tried a couple different options to improve my power management. I've made some videos about that, ultimately settling on the Control 4 switch and kind of keying power management of the computer to automation in the Control 4 setup. I made some videos about like clean booting, basically using Steam Deck. Steam Deck UI is one of the best things that ever happened to PC gaming. So I'll probably schedule that video for Monday. It's like a half an hour long, I think, half hour plus. Actually 40 minutes, 41 minutes, because there's been so many comments in all of the individual videos about the kind of the disparate elements, because the channel is like a vloggy style. So as I do little things here and there, I tweak this, I tweak that. I'll put out the piece of content about it. But now from the PC home theater gaming perspective, I've got everything working kind of the way that I want it to. Controller reliability with the high gain, long range Bluetooth antenna is working fantastic as well. So I've got all the pieces lined up, and there's been a lot of questions in the videos that I've made along the way about different elements of it, and essentially asking for more of a comprehensive kind of guide to the current PC setup. So I went ahead and this past weekend and I made that. And so folks asked for comprehensive. I made it comprehensive. So 41 minutes long. And I talk literally about everything that I've done in the current setup of the gaming PC, getting HDMI signals, power management, controller access, Steam Deck, booting, and all those things. So hopefully the folks that like that stuff should really like that video. So I haven't really added anything else to the system in the last few weeks. One thing that I will be doing, and I'll vlog this one out coming up as well, is I have the parts down in the basement sitting by the rack. I haven't done anything with them yet, but I did pick up a couple of specific rack parts. So I want to talk a little bit about, like, if you've got a rack, cool things about home theater racks, gear racks, is particularly if you buy like the Snap AV ones, or you buy certain models, is they come with all their really cool, like very specific rack elements. And so I'd kind of been running my rack, like leaving gaps between stuff for air and things like that. But one of the things that I'm still hopefully planning for this year is the big, like, Ubiquiti network overhaul. And I worked out a rack plan for where the Ubiquiti stuff is going to go. I'm going to put it on the front of the rack. I'm going to put it up above the home theater gear. That's going to necessitate me to kind of shuffle some stuff around. And so I picked up a couple of like specific, like 2U vent plates, and to kind of install the Kaleidescape a little bit better, because right now I've got the Kaleidescape pieces, the Strato and the Compact Terra. They're in their rack mount, but their power supplies are just kind of like sitting on top of the units. I bought a 1U shelf that's not an open shelf. It's a shelf with a solid face. So it looks like a panel, but it's actually a shelf, shelf in the back. So I can actually put the power supplies up on a shelf above the Kaleidescape players and get all that set up. So I'm going to be kind of retweaking the rack. I found two, I think it was in the UK actually, and they were a little expensive. I didn't order them, but who knows, at some point in time, maybe we'll go ahead. It's like there were specific shelf units with face plates made to fit the NAD amplifiers. It's like, wow, that looks really nice. So just perfectly having the face of the Master Series amps stick out of specifically a 4U shelf that would blank everything else out, and then I could put the 2U vent plate above it for airflow directly above the amps, space everything out nicely. So I need some help to do that as well. So we'll see. Hopefully, maybe this weekend, if he's feeling better. My son's the one rocking the 101-degree fever tonight, but maybe he'll be able to give me a hand, or we'll get in there and get everything ready. I won't be doing the Ubiquity stuff for a while. Yeah, Michael's saying I did notice this as well. There's a trickle of new hardware coming from Ubiquity. New Wi-Fi 7 stuff. There was a couple new form factors. I think of their access point that were just announced, and there was another switch. I think they're adding to the like, was it the Pro Max PoEs with just different port counts and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think it'll be something probably really pursue until the fall, but I'm going to prepare for it in any case. So with the extra little rack bits and pieces, we'll move everything around. We'll leave the spaces with just blanks in them right now for the rack plan, for the Ubiquity gear, and then later on, once we start adding the stuff, I'll do the networking first, and then we'll get into cameras and other things like that. So with any luck, look ahead into the second half of the year for some new networking infrastructure type of stuff coming as well. Oh yeah, I haven't checked this out as well. Synology Tech Preview just happened. I'm not sure if they announced anything new. I was chatting with them a little bit. They liked actually they reached out to me. We had some conversations. They liked the videos that I had made about the NAS upgrades. And actually I'm getting ready for some of it. I have it sitting right here. I have my it's a third party, but it's still a 2-port 10G fiber networking card for the Synology down there. I haven't put it in yet because there's nothing to connect it to, but grab that off of eBay to get ready. So yeah, so that's what's been going on leading up till now. So let's talk announcement time. So I've been debating this move for a while, to be quite honest. And it has to do with Kaleidescape, starting with Kaleidescape. So one of the things that I've really focused my content on, and something that I've tried to accomplish on the channel, is to try to make the best Kaleidescape content that there is, just to be quite honest, to make the most comprehensive. If we go back a few years, I don't think there was a lot, there wasn't a lot of content, there wasn't a lot of discussion about Kaleidescape. There was a lot of arguing about Kaleidescape, and when and if some content might hit YouTube or might hit some social spaces and whatnot, there was a lot of arguing about the price and different elements of the platform and the system and stuff like that. And I think that sentiment really overshadowed the value of the platform, because I think the platform is great. And quite honestly, I've been an owner for, well, since the mid 2010s. Shortly after the Strato line had come out, I had an original Strato player, a 2U 6 terabyte. That was my first Kaleidescape player. I've had big Terras, I've had the Strato Cs, now I've got the compact Terra. So I used to be able to say that I've had every incarnation of the Strato hardware form factor, but I don't yet have a Strato or a Terra Prime. So that is not a true statement, and at the moment, until I get myself a Terra Prime anyway. So I've had almost every iteration of the Strato hardware. And when I put the channel together, I knew right away that, like, okay, this is something that I want to focus on because I like it, and I wanted to share information about it. I wanted to put out comprehensive deep dive material out there so that the platform could be understood, how it works, There's been a lot in the 3 years since doing the YouTube thing now. The channel actually is almost exactly 3 years old. We have a Techthusiasm birthday also to celebrate eminently. But in these 3 years, I've really tried to put the material out there, and I think that material has really resonated. It's been interesting for as much argumentative as kind of sometimes talking about Kaleidescape in social circles can get. That never really happened here, either in any live, in any discussions, not even really in the comments and stuff like that. So I think Techthusiasm has rightfully earned some renown about kind of being um, having arguably some of the most comprehensive and the best Kaleidescape stuff out there. I've met people at shows or whatever, and routinely am told, "Hey, you're the Kaleidescape guy," and "Hey, I bought my Kaleidescape because of you," and all that stuff. And I've been happy over now. The channel's 3 years old. It's been 18 months or so, I would say, uh, give or take, since I've actually had some business partners, and we've really kind of been doing the affiliate thing and all of that stuff. But so without further ado, I will say that Techthusiasm is now a certified and authorized Kaleidescape dealer. So that's the only thing that I'm carrying. But I think it's a move that's long overdue. So when I plan to change nothing about how I approach the platform, change nothing about how much I like the platform. I think how much I enjoy it. The still wanting to make some of the most comprehensive content about the platform, the how tos, the guides, the what's new, covering the relevant news and all of that sort of stuff. Being a user myself anyway, right, and continuing to enjoy it by and large. When we watch content in our theater for the last several years now, it's always generally been Kaleidescape first, if the piece of content, of course, is available on the platform. So yeah, so now if I've sold you on Kaleidescape, um, because the content helped kind of demystify the platform, helped to understand it. So if I've sold you on it, I can sell it to you, basically. So if anybody out there is interested, do reach out. So again, certified, authorized dealer for Kaleidescape. I'm not carrying at the moment, and not carrying anything else. Not directly selling any other brands, but I think this move is probably long overdue, and and I think it caters uh, quite well to something that an element of home theater that I quite enjoy, that I look forward to seeing continue to grow and evolve. Hopefully, of course, we know what we're all waiting for when it comes to Kaleidescape hardware, um, and features, and all those types of things. So I did overhaul my webpage a little bit. So jeremypile.com this past weekend, got some edits to it, talking about that, and still remains probably the easiest way to reach out and contact me. So on the webpage, there's just a quick notice on the main page about being a Kaleidescape dealer now, and then of course there's the contact form there if anybody wants to reach out and talk about the platform, see if it might work for you. Get a quote, and maybe pick it up. And we'll get you all hooked up, get you all set up. Easily a platform that definitely I can remote support. I know all about it, front to back, top to bottom. So helping folks facilitate installation, setup, settings. You want to do, I mean, some of the cool stuff, right? You got the Control 4 platform. We can get it all programmed up. We can get it all programmed up in there. I wrote the macro for the for the jump back, bring in the subtitle kind of functionality. So yeah, I think this makes sense. I think it's a platform that I can service very, very well. And I'm excited to do it. And of course, if it means more revenue for the channel, then that's awesome. It means more revenue to be able to do more stuff all around Techthusiasm, as well as hopefully potentially getting to the point where the channel and its revenue starts to have more of a profound impact on the rest of our household. So um, I would be a liar to say that I'm not excited to further find revenue opportunities from the business that is Techthusiasm. So yeah, that's it. That's it. A couple comments, Michael. Yeah, it's because you sold us all on it. Yeah, I started the channel. So I talk most in detail about the stuff that I'm doing and the stuff that I like. So the Anthem stuff, the Kaleidescape, the gaming PC, the Control 4 stuff, right? Optimizing the theater, all that. That's what I want to be on YouTube, and I think it's what I have time for, and I think it's what fits the kind of fits the motif, um, the tenor of the channel the best. I've done some reviews and things like that, and I'll review the disparate thing that comes through my hands if it makes sense. I'm actually sitting sitting in a chair that was sent to me, HBADA. If you're looking for office chairs, other things coming through, but by and large, I like I like deep diving stuff. I like being the vloggy type of channel. I don't have time to do review after review and do large scale deep dive reviews of things that come through my system temporarily. So I prefer to go more thoroughly deeper on the stuff that I like the most, and that I'm keeping and putting in, because I don't want my theater to be a Frankenstein torn up monster as well. When we actually have the rare opportunity, family night to watch a movie, I don't want to be able to not do that because, oh, we got to reconnect this, or I took this stuff out to put this thing in. No, I want it always operating at peak potential, peak efficiency. So let's see, just looking through some the comments that came through. Ren saying Kaleidescape makes sense. Once take deep dive into price category. Yeah, I mean, it once it fits the room, it fits the room for sure. Will Anderson, are you going to make it to M Wave? No, I really wanted to. Um, I'm good friends with Michael behind the scenes. I give him a lot of credit. He's been a great resource, mentor, coach, and friend over the last couple of years, all around YouTube. We chat regularly about about YouTube mechanics and business and home theater and that sort of stuff. I wasn't able to go last year because it conflicted with a planned family vacation, and that's the same reason exists this year as well. So we've got the sand soccer tournament that I played. I played in last year. I'm not playing the sand soccer this year, I think. But yeah, so unfortunately, I got a family event uh, that overlaps. But I definitely hope to make it in the future. Informally, I am planning to go to Audio Advice Live again this year. So if folks want to have a chance to meet and say hi, that'll probably be the likely opportunity to do so. Cedia, not likely, but maybe TBD. We'll see. Michael saying, yeah, what kind of classified information? Yeah, let me start my dealership by divulging all of the secrets that I'm not allowed to divulge. That'll go over really well, and for my longevity as a as an authorized dealer. But actually, I don't really know anything, quite honestly. So I did the certification, um, and I learned about the platforms to use as a dealer. Um, but I pretty much knew a lot of the material already about the technicalities of the platform and stuff like that. Sammy Eskins, when you get in your prime. Yep. So I was already contemplating that. I'm debating what to do. Quite honestly, I did actually put I did put my Terra up for sale, at least on AVS only so far. So if anybody out there actually is potentially interested in a Terra, a compact Terra, it's not a Prime, but it's a 12 terabyte, which you cannot get in the Primes. Of course, the Primes come in 8 and 22, so it's a trade-off a little bit, I guess. So I think the 12 still has some appeal. It's 50% larger than the 8, so you have more space, but it's not the Prime. Um, but I think it still has some value on the used market. So I was thinking possibly, well, maybe I'll sell my 12 terabyte and I'll go ahead and I'll pick up a 22 Prime um, for myself and for the room and demo purposes and all that sort of thing. Uh, so the other night, day or two ago, whatever it was, I listed it up on AVS forum. I didn't list it on Kscape owners forum yet, but I probably will list it there as well. So I think. But my debate was like, well, shoot, should I? If nobody wants to just buy that server, I already had actually one person message me off AVS, and they're like, well, do you have a Strato to go with it? And I was like, okay, well, I could sell these as a unit, the ones Techthusiasm owns, right, that are personal units pre-dealer relationship, and then I could just essentially buy a combo because they do the combos are still available. And actually, hey, so there are movie credit promos still on the Strato Terra combos that expire at the end of June. So we're not sure what'll happen. They're set to expire at the end of June. Don't know what the next promotions and comboing and stuff may be. So it didn't really work out very well price wise to like sell somebody that Terra, but then sell them a new Strato. If they're going to do that, they probably are better off to just get a new C and a new Prime 8. But anyway, I put it out there if and when it sells. But then if we also get some other types of new hardware, again, I don't know anything, but I'm just using a rational and common sensible mind. If we get some new hardware at Cedia time, maybe I might just wait. I might just end up waiting and see if in fact we get the new Stratos, and then I will sell my units and do a new Strato. Let's call it a Strato Prime and a Terra Prime together, but we'll see what it might be better to wait and see what transpires. But I have it up, so if anybody out there listening could make very good use of a 12 terabyte compact Terra, I have it, and I can supplement it now with any other new Kaleidescape equipment that you may be interested to get. I run saying 5090 coming this year. Yep. Yeah, I'm looking at that. This fall is going to be a hard resurrection of the debate, my ongoing perpetual debate of console versus PC gaming, as the more than likely the PS5 Pro and the 5090 come out at the same time. A battle of price, a battle of fidelity, a battle of simplicity, and all of that. So yeah, I'm watching all of that for sure. Because if I stay committed to the PC gaming path, I'm gonna very much be drawn to a 5090 build, whole new PC rebuild probably. Liffy Bendrix, hello. Glad to have time for the hangout. Glad to have you here. Again, welcome everybody. If you would hit the like buttons, drop some comments. Let me know who's out there. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what you've been doing in your home theater. Let me know if you want a Kaleidescape, because I can do that now. That's the big news for tonight. Let's see, I never care for Kaleidescape going into an AVP, but it's still an interesting platform. AVP. AV processor. Not sure what. Oh, platform. Terminator saying definitely could never do the product review thing. Yeah, it's just like watching. Yeah. Reviewing's tough. Oh, sorry. Let me jump back to this. He meant Vision Pro. Yeah, I wasn't expecting any kind of crossover between the Kscape and the AVP, the Apple Vision Pro. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, reviews are tough. They're very time intensive, and like any individual review just doesn't. They largely don't justify themselves in terms of view count. Like the stuff that really resonates on the channel has been like more deeper take type things, like talking about Infuse on the Apple TV and talking about that app, which technically I guess that was a review, but it wasn't like a hardware review. It was like, let's talk in detail about this app and the things that it does, or like the Apple TV how-to guide stuff and other things like that. That's what I like making, because that's what I'm just making videos about the stuff that I'm playing with in my system, trying to optimize and set it up and get the most out of it and all that sort of thing. So yeah, seeing this one, yeah, like, and exactly. You gotta take your stuff apart, hook things up in different ways, and then things have to go back. And I mean, some of the things that we talk about reviewing in this hobby is literally like 100-pound subwoofers, right? Big things that we got to lug around and risk dropping, and it's tough. First world tough. Right. Julius, have you thought about becoming an SVS dealer? No. So my intention here was to go with the idea of being able to offer Kaleidescape, based again on kind of my liking the platform the way that I do, basically. It's kind of like a special offering. Um, I'm not I'm definitely not looking to build an AV installer integration business, where I'm like building theaters and going into people's houses and setting, selling and setting everything up. Maybe there's good money in that, but I'm doing pretty good in the day job. So I'm happy to stay building the career in the day job. I don't need I like this whole thing as a supplement, but I definitely don't need a wholesale replacement. And in conjunction with that, I don't have any more bandwidth or time to go like full on. So I'm not looking to add all kinds of brands um and Kaleidescape was special and it worked out in a really in a way that just makes a lot of sense with the relationship and their policies and how the dealer activity and stuff works. Not every brand is the same. Um, some brands, Kaleidescape too is such a very focused product. Um, I'm repping the products of a company, but they make two things, and those two things go together, and I know them very well. Versus a company that makes a lot of things, lots of different models, and lots of different stuff. And then sometimes you have like AV brands that don't even interact necessarily directly through the dealers. Sometimes to get brands, you actually become a dealer that has a connection like with the distributor, and then that distributor has uh, a half a dozen or a dozen or 2 dozen different brands. And sometimes when you do things in the dealer world, again, like you can't just carry a subset. If you want something, you have to carry other things if that brand is connected to other things. So Kaleidescape just was it works out very efficiently and intelligently for the channel. So and SVS is something that you can just buy direct. So if you want to buy SVS stuff, um, I definitely endorse it. They're making some great things. I love my subs, and the new speaker line seems to be getting very strong accolades all around. Just go through my links if you would for that. I'd that's good enough, I think, and I'd appreciate that. So we'll see if there does end up being some other products that kind of fit the bill in the way that Kaleidescape does for me. Then we'll I can always consider adding more, but one thing at a time, and we'll go from there. Other brands that I like, I know I believe like Anthem is a little bit more involved because they have the speaker line and it's not just the Anthem product. And I don't even know like how Focal works if they are a distributor brand or if it's like a direct sale kind of thing. So rest assured, I'll poke around more of these ideas as we go forward, and we'll see how once if Kaleidescape activity actually picks up and folks are interested in. I know the other thing that really led me to doing it is I've scored a ton. I know a ton of folks, um, dozens and dozens of folks have used the account referral. So I know definitively, and then I have folks message me, and that's what was killing me a little bit too, kind of after the fact is like I'd get a message through the channel or Techthusiasm underscore JP at outlook.com, and it's be like, love your content. It taught me what I needed to learn and I went ahead and got a Kaleidescape and I used your link. It's like, okay, that's great. Like, did you go through maybe one of my affiliates or whatever? And like, I never saw that. So there's been a lot of Kaleidescape hardware that has been bought by virtue of being able to learn about it here on the channel. And quite frankly, I would like to participate more in the economics of those decisions. Um, and again, I think I can be an awesome dealer for this, particularly this platform. I think I can support it exceptionally well. Um, and I'm already doing the consulting calls. Those have been absolutely fantastic as well. Actually, I've done a couple now. There's a little bit of a lull, but then now they've started to kind of pick up again. And just in the last week, 9-ish days, I've done 2 calls with folks, and they're just absolutely fun and fantastic discussions. And I think I absolutely like changed the structure um, and activity around what they were doing, how they were planning things, making the system better, and stuff like that. So I love those. I love those. Anybody out there, if you're looking to do like optimization, you want to vet a plan, all right, and just kind of talk through some ideas. Those sessions are really great, and so I can very easily support folks in getting online with Kaleidescapes in that type of forum. So again, I feel it's very uniquely prepared to do this. Yeah, Sammy's saying, yeah, 22 fills up quick. Mine is pretty much full. Downloads going to my other one now. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if I wanted to have storage enough to fill my library, I would need the 96. I think because I've got 1,500. Is it 1,500 movies in my library? I've still definitely continued to buy stuff. Definitely continued to buy movies in the platform. Let me see what yeah, my movies. I haven't checked this in a while. Let me see what page number I'm on. So I'm on page 13. Probably getting close to 14 pages. And if I recall correctly, there's 120 movies per page in your account if you log into kaleidescape.com. So there's getting to be less and less that for me to buy, but I've been picking up some older stuff. Always watch the sales. Grab whatever's on sale, line up the new movies. Just need to spend more time actually watching movies. So yeah, I'll be even with a server upgrade, I'll be cycling. It'll be a little while before I would even consider putting a 90 plus whatever Tera down in the basement. The opportunity costs of where else that money could go is still pretty high for me. Anthony can't play SC2 StarCraft on PS5. I don't really do the PC gaming thing. I PC game, but I don't play PC games, if that makes sense. Basically, I treat my PC like a console, and I play controller based games, single player narrative stuff. Happy for the Sony thing. The one thing that'll come into the debate for this fall as well is a lot of gaming news lately, actually, in these last couple of weeks about just how bad Microsoft's getting beat up, essentially in the console space. A lot of talk about Microsoft's about to be the next Sega, more or less. Like everybody's going to go third party, or Microsoft's going to go third party. So we'll see Xbox games on PlayStation. We'll see some PlayStation games on Xbox, etc. They have to do it to make more money and fund all these projects and all that stuff. But they, as well as Sony has been supporting PC, it was interesting that they did make a very definitive executive comment to suggest that the tentpole single player narrative games, Sony exclusive stuff, will still maintain a release window, and that window could be 1 to 2 years. And I'm not getting any younger, so if I actually want to play stuff when it's new, that's the thing that could still sell me on a PlayStation. If Sony would actually sell me a PlayStation that ran well enough to want to buy it. So PS5 Pro into the PS6, could that be it? I don't know. We'll have to see this fall. Anthony, I want a Kscape. Hey, I got you. A used Youthman deal. Well, if you want to talk about it, go to jeremypyle.com and drop a contact form, or Techthusiasm_JP at outlook.com. I'm happy to chat and see what kind of Techthusiasm deal we can get you going for there. Ren saying Apple seems to be getting copies of streaming versions now, since getting 4K 3D Dolby Vision Atmos, beating copies at streaming versions now. I'm not sure what you mean there. And once AirPods Max Gen 2 comes, pretty much complete. Yeah, the Apple Vision high quality streaming and a good pair of headphones is pretty sweet for sure. Terminator saying he's waiting for an AVR processor at 4 subs outs in the 4K price range. We'll see. You can get there. Actually, can you get there with Denon and Marantz already? Definitely not with Anthem, at least not yet. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Anthem lineup. We'll still probably see current models with Anthem for some time. They only did like the mini MRX was the last CDS interesting Anthem thing. So we'll see what they may have this year. Sammy's saying my next stop is 48. Yep, just keep stepping it up. Keep stepping it up. 48 would be nice as well. Going from 12 to 22, I think I'll find that even to be a good little jump, at least to keep more stuff. Now that we're watching the Marvel movies, like I only keep kind of the next few Marvel movies on there, but hey, if I had a 22 and we can hold another couple hundred movies, I just keep the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe present all the time, and like a few other favorites that hit the cycle now could stay resident, which would be pretty cool. Yeah, Nintendo about to be the only true studio left. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and this is what kills me. Nintendo's over here with the weakest hardware, selling gangbusters. Yep, and everybody else is struggling. Freaking Nintendo. My historic love-hate relationship with Nintendo. If there's any one company that I wanted to go free third party a long time ago, put their games out on other platforms that actually had some power behind them, it's definitely been Nintendo. So be watching closely for Switch 2 news, but yeah, they know their audience and they know what they're doing. You can't argue with their business model, the protection of their characters and all that stuff. So they're managing that pretty well, making money. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the gaming battle this fall. So things are going to get heating up here pretty quick right away. We've got WWDC followed pretty quickly by M-Wave. So there'll be all kinds of home theater learnings and shootouts and discussion, coming out of that. We'll be pretty quickly into Audio Device Live and then Cedia. And then the new gaming stuff will be coming out. The new JVC projectors should start shipping soon. So it's going to be a big H2, big second half of the year around consumer electronics and home theater. I think pretty fun. Yeah, PS5 Pro. Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's a no-brainer at this point. The only thing that I think could possibly throw them for a loop is if further rumors heat up about Microsoft dropping a true next Xbox in 2026. And my hope, regardless of anything else, if the PS5 Pro is really good, I do not want it to be 3 or 4 years before we get a PS6. In my opinion, and I hold this one close to my vest. I know it's not always popular, but consoles should be on a 2-year cycle. There should always be a new, more powerful, incrementally powerful console coming every 2 years. If the GPU market can do it for PC gaming, the console manufacturers can do it. And these games should be written in such a way that they're ready, right? When they detect more power. Well, we already have unlocked frame rates and dynamic resolutions. So if they have to make sacrifices for the 2024 model PlayStation, well, we know the 2026 model is going to do even better by those games, but not even just dynamic frame rates and resolutions, but the freaking settings, because running the game at ultra on a PC is just immaculate. And so like that stuff needs to be felt. And we need these incremental updates. We need a console that costs like $750 and really go after it. I would buy them. Yeah, H2 going to be pricey. Pricey for rent. 5090 PC, new iPhone. Yep. Yeah, we'll see what the 16 is. So I won't be upgrading phones this year. I know that. We're into we have the 15s. I've still got my 15 Pro Max with the trade-in deal, so that won't be going anywhere for a couple of years. Pretty happy with that. I would love one of my buddies, my best friend, did pick up one of the new OLED iPad Pro 12.9s with the screen filter and all that stuff, and I haven't. He needs to bring it into work. I'm very eager to see it. I want to bring my iPad in. I want to see his iPad. I want to put them side by side, and I want to open up some comic book pages, and then see if I go back to my desk and want to put in an iPad order. But I've got an M1 generation Pro, which runs fine. it's really all about the screen for me there. But with all the stuff and the costliness of it all, it's just opportunity cost that I can't buy everything. So I want to make sure. Katie's going crazy. Sorry if anybody's bugging anybody there. Um, can't buy everything, so you got to make trade-offs, and generally want to try to buy the most impactful things. And had some other places where money's needed to funnel, and still some risks in us as well. I've got a nice 2 foot by 6 foot hole tore open in my ceiling in my kitchen, just one room over here. As our shower, the pan of our shower in our master bathroom was apparently leaking through the floor. So we're still waiting. It's impossible to find anybody to do anything, but we've got some latent expenditures lined up for us to hit coming up here. So got to make choices. Getting a new iPad, getting the phones every year, getting an NZ 900, and all these things. It's hard to keep up with everything at that level of equipment and gear. Spliffy is saying, I believe they can. Would consumers really replace? So my thesis on this, that I don't think every customer needs to feel the need to buy a new console every 2 years, but I feel they need to release new consoles every 2 years so that it always feels fresh, and there's always an opportunity to buy like something latest and greatest and newer, while with an assurance of backwards compatibility. So all they need to do, I need to go become the new executive VP of PlayStation or something. Maybe this decision would put them out of business, but in my opinion, all they need to do, you put the stuff on a 2-year cycle, constantly iterating new hardware, faster processor, more memory, etc., like pumping all the stuff in, and you make sure that game releases will be supported for a 6-year cycle, right? So nowadays, people are used to buying consoles. They want them to last 5 years or whatever. Well, on a 2-year cycle, 3 iterations of the console is 6 years. So for the folks that don't want to buy, the consumer that doesn't want to buy the new hardware and have the latest, greatest performance every 2 years, well, fine. Now they have a choice. They could buy every 4, they could buy every 6, they could buy every 8 if they wanted to, right? They could always stay a model or something behind if they wanted to buy used ones and save money going that way. I think it would work for everybody in the long run. It would work especially for folks that want power when it's brand new on a regular basis and are willing to pay for it. So yeah, so that's Terminator, you kind of have that's the opposite take, right? You want a longer life cycle, but I just can't see that. It needs to be, software and hardware needs to be a continual integration nowadays. Like, we expect continual updates, not even games as a service per se. That's a different argument, but like software platforms and stuff as a service. If Apple can put out a brand new phone every year for $1,000 or $1,200, how can we not get new consoles every year or two, right? If we can get brand new iPads every year, brand new laptop models every year, why is a console on an archaic like 6-year cycle? I don't get it. I don't get that part to me. And again, people can choose when to upgrade. You got people that buy new phones every year. Cool, because they're into it. That's what they want to spend their money on. They use their phones that much. But then you got people that upgrade every 3 years. You got people that keep their phones and just until they break, and then they keep them 6 or 7 years. So let those folks, right? Folks can do that. The only difference is after on a 2-year cycle, after 3 cycles and 6 years, expect that, okay, your iteration of the console may not be a performance target for new games that are coming out, right? So it's time to upgrade after that. The video gaming space is in a really weird, different. It's a different level of electronics. It's almost goofy in a way, because it's like nowadays, like, it's an adult hobby, but it's like made for, I don't know. It has like a pricing model that's like made like we're all still kids or something. Like, we're not 40-year-old guys with jobs and stuff that are the ones buying games and buying consoles and that. So the other computer electronics companies can do it. But like there's like all this craziness, crazy outcry and backlash about like, oh, like I need my console. I spent $400 on my console and I need it to last a decade. And like, yeah, if you're like a teenager, but I don't know. I'm probably coming off a little elitist or whatever in this, but it's just killed me for so long that the game industry and the dynamics of the gaming business are so hamstrung by price. And but yeah, we have these home theater hobbies where there's like a spectrum of price. Yeah, like not everybody has the Mad VRs and right, not everybody buys an NZ900. A lot of folks buy the Epsons, the BenQs, right? Stuff like that. And that's fine. But then why can't I get $1,000 PlayStation 5? Um, right? Let me buy $1,000 PlayStation 5 variant that will run the freaking game in native 4K, hold 60 FPS plus, and it'll run ultra settings. And if it needs to be a little bigger, whatever, just do it. All it is settings and testing and targets. So, um, yeah, it's all a choice. A lot of PC hardware folks in the chat too. Yeah, day and date on PC solves the problem. It does. Like if Sony would just do it, that would be so good. And if Nintendo would just freaking come over, that would be great. And yeah, and then we're golden. But the problem still is like PC is crazy expensive comparatively speaking, right? You're talking about $4,000 for a 4090 or a to be 5090 gaming computer versus like what would be an uber crazy console would be $1,000 still for 999, right? What you could do at 999 with a piece of console hardware would just be insane. Um, so, but it's also the ease of use and ease of integration. And I've done all this stuff. I mean, the video that's coming again, 41 minutes on Monday, all about the PC gaming setup, arriving at all these things, being able to turn it on with the remote control and make the controllers work and using the Steam Deck UI. Like there's still jankiness to it. There's still failure modes. There's still elements that don't work the way you want them to work when you want them to use it, or and then we're stuck rebooting. So there's certainly still an element of like the console just works, um, ease of access and ease of use. And I'd love to be able to play on a console, but again, just let me pay for fidelity or closer fidelity that I can get to a PC. Yeah, so that would completely destroy game development, console gaming. Yeah, but again, you only upgrade when as a consumer, you upgrade when it makes sense for you to upgrade. Same thing, all cars, right? How can Ford put out a $50,000 Explorer every single year with iterative improvements and new software and new features and better performance and different capability, right? $50,000 product. Does it bug anybody that new model of every single one of these vehicles comes out every year? No, because you buy your car and you choose to drive it for 10 years. I mean, if you're uber wealthy, buy a brand new model, drive it for a year, turn it in, get the new one. Right. It's all just economics. If you have the scale of economics to do that with vehicles, more power to you. If you have the scale of economics to do that with cell phones, more power to you. If you have the scale of economics to do that with a video game console, awesome. But we don't have the option. It's like one of the only things where we don't have the option where they make a piece of something and it's stuck for 5 years while three generations of GPUs were released on the PC side in the same amount of time. And by the time we're done, right, the GPUs that are available are how many X times the power. So just the pace needs to pick up. Sammy saying, yeah, PCMR vibes leaking out. Yeah, but I mean, legitimately though, I would like to be a console gamer. I would like to be a console gamer if they would just make the kind of product that would appeal to me as a console player. Yeah, so this is where some of the difference. I do agree with this. They don't make games 4 to 6 years on the phone. So But hardware nowadays and gaming nowadays, the when the architecture of the platform can stay the same, it's not like the olden days. So this made sense in the Xbox One, Xbox 360 era, when every new console iteration like necessitated a complete re-architecture. It was a brand new chip, a brand new compilation target, and that sort of thing, right? A brand new development platform and so on. But man, software. I work in professional software development, and essentially the only thing that everybody wants to get after in professional software development nowadays is continuous integration, continuous release cadence, right? To be able to power up features and software capabilities and all of that on a regular delivery mechanism. So if the core architecture of the platform, and we already have it, that's what a PC is, right? PC based core architecture allows us to run games from 10 and 20 years ago because it's not fundamentally different. It's the same it's the same core architecture. It's just incredibly faster. So, and if the compile targets in the deployment of the games can be made to follow that vision, then it can work. The original development roadmap of these things will still, of course, take a long time. That's inevitable. But if the release cadence and the development tools and the targeting of the specific hardwares really should just make these things like turning very simple dials. And more calibration than redevelopment is where they need to get to. And I think it's all technically possible to do this. Yeah, just looking through some of the other comments. Yeah, that was my reason why I thought a PS5 Pro wasn't going to happen. PS5 was sold at a loss for most of the time, and that's changed a little bit. I think in the more recent console generations, I thought that hardware in prior console generations, there was the idea of like losing hardware for losing on hardware to make money on games and software and services and platform things and stuff like that. Predominantly games in the past, but that's been a tough business model. I think Microsoft's really feeling that right now. But yeah, I love the business side of all the stuff. I try to pay attention to it as much as I can. Yeah, Terminator saying it's not about cost to consumers; it's about game development. Yeah, having stable platform. Yep. And I think the platforms can be they can be generationally stabilized. Spiffy saying, I think what you want anti-ethical and antithetical to console gaming. Yeah, I mean it's the structure of the industry isn't set up for the idea that that I would like, but it's a selfish want. I think this means you need to buy the PS5 Pro and keep it. Yeah, I mean, I'm very eager to see what they do with it. Again, because of the simplicity. The other challenge that I'm going to end up with in the household for gaming coming up is so we game as a family, four of us, and we play couch co-op games occasionally together, mostly just kind of fun Twinkie games. We've beaten Overcooked 2, Moving Out, Heave Ho is a fun one, right? Same screen, couch co-op. The latest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Shredder's Revenge, side scroller, old pixel-ish beat 'em up. So we play that stuff together, which is fine. And then my son and I will predominantly play two-player co-op games together. We're on the last of the Lego Marvel games. Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. We've done Lego DC games. We've done the Lego Movie game, bunch of Lego games. We did Ratchet and Clank together. Even though it's single player, we pass the controller back and forth. We'll play Mario, like Odyssey and whatever on the Switch, that stuff. But at some point in the probably not too distant future, we're going to very likely encounter the first games that he and I will want to play together, and we'll need to have our own hardware to do it instead of it being a same screen co-op experience. And then that begs the question, what do I do? Like, am I really going to build two gaming PCs? two 5090 gaming PCs or whatever? No. Am I going to build a powerful gaming PC and a lesser powerful gaming PC? Maybe that's tenable. Or at that point, will it just be easier to have consoles, and even set up like maybe multiple multiplayer um, setup somewhere around the house, something like what Taurus has on the Fun Waste of Time. He's got his game room where he's got four screens, four consoles, and four people can sit in there and play together, right? But you're not playing same screen co-op. So that's one gaming element that keeps the idea of consoles tight in the back of my mind coming up, and why I would seriously give the why I will seriously give the PS5 Pro another or a serious chance. Um, I prepare to be disappointed in the same way that I'm generally disappointed by every console that looks like it's going to be a power beast, and then you put the games up against each other and it's not. Right, and the PC version just destroys them. Um, but I'll hold out some hope, and if they do enough stuff with reconstruction and like the Sony's version of the DLSS and AI based things and stuff like that, that can band-aid up. That can band-aid over, I think, a lot of the quality. So we'll see. Pretty much wants console makers to be like, I mean, in some respects, why not? I guess as tech platforms, it has to work out business wise. It has to work out. I agree, and I'll concede that probably what I'm talking about and what I would like to see from that industry in terms of its electronics probably doesn't work in the business model of today. But I still wonder, like, why can everybody else do it? Why can everybody else run their product development that way? Right. Yeah, if a developer had to optimize for 3 or 4 different versions of each platform, then that would significantly hurt the overall. Yeah, I guess, I work in software development, but we do a lot of performance-minded code and features, and sometimes we have to significantly performance optimize our stuff, and our software runs on all level of different PCs, uh, Macs and computer platforms, to the point where sometimes customers do things with our software and expect a certain level of performance, and it's like, do you realize what you're running it on? And that's an unrealistic expectation. um but the saving grace would have to be, it's a calibration effort, right? That they pick a target to develop to, and then they can calibrate down from there. So yeah, like I said, maybe what I'm suggesting isn't tenable. It's too expensive. It doesn't fit the business. Yeah, stick to PC gaming. Yep, which is fine. If that's what I do, that's what I do. I love the simplicity of consoles. I game more when my main setup is a console than when it's the PC for sure. Um, because of the accessibility, stuff like quick resume, and that, like, that alone is a huge feature for me, because I'm generally busy. If I might play a game for a half an hour, getting into it, um, booting the PC, loading everything from scratch all the time, like those little things matter a lot versus just being able to grab a controller and play. Um, so it's just trade-offs. Everything is trade-offs. Yeah, Sony will go bankrupt trying to release hardware every few years. Yeah, I'd love to see more of the details, I guess, the books and all of that, about why the gaming industry is the way it is, and other electronics and product industries are not that way. Like, why is why are we talking about it being so prohibitively expensive for this one element of product in electronics when others don't? Others are not constrained in that way. Julius asking, since you play video games primarily on LG, no, I've not noticed. No burn-in, no problems. The G2 is running well. So no problems at all with that. Not that I probably even play enough, certainly that it would potentially become an issue, but Terminators developers have complained about having to make their games work for 8th gen PS and Xbox. So the other thing I'll say, this will be also another unpopular opinion, is that it wouldn't bother me if they cut the older hardware off with new titles. Um, so right, focus the stuff towards the newer hardware. But again, that's a business decision. And are you going to ignore a older install base? Didn't they just come out? I think the fact that less than half of PS4 owners have upgraded to PS5. I think that was in the news just this past week. So this is why. Yeah, I'm not finding. I swear I saw this around like the web forums and stuff, that there's still a massive quantity of market out there from the prior generation to sell PS5s to, which is wild. So it makes sense why from a business perspective, as the platform holder, you want those games to still not advance too much so that they can come out on all these platforms and make more money, and then that creates these challenges. And then it also limits and stifles development as well, because now you got to target older stuff. Couple other folks, hey, hockey player, welcome. So we're into the PC gaming rant or console gaming rant section of the stream tonight. As I was talking about, leading into the video that I'll probably publish on Monday about my as console as possible PC gaming setup, that a lot of folks have asked about in the comments. So, but anyway, so that was pretty much the topics for tonight. Again, catching up, things to come around the video for Monday. We've got some rack optimization, more on the Mad VR, and of course the big announcement of adding reseller business to Techthusiasm. So for anybody that's come in towards the end here, I am now an authorized certified Kaleidescape dealer. Kaleidescape being a platform that I really enjoyed for quite some time, and I've made it a bit of a quest over the years on the channel to demystify and comprehensively cover and discuss and debate and make content around the platform, helping folks get a feel for it, understand it, hopefully understand whether it's right for them or not. And so I think a natural next step is to do this. So if anybody out there is interested in talking about potentially adding Kaleidescape hardware to their setup, go to jeremypowell.com, reach out to me, and get in touch, or techthusiasm_JP at outlook.com. So yeah, the Techthusiasm business evolves. Otherwise, yeah, do it. Kaleidescape is the best. Yeah, Hockey's a big fan as well. All right, anything else on anybody's mind? Any last questions, comments? To alienate anybody with my PC gaming, console gaming opinions? I actually need to I really would like to get gaming a little bit more. Usually around this time of night is when we're finally done. Kids are in bed, done with the parenting stuff, and I've got like a little bit of time to do something before going to bed. And it's always a tough choice between like just throwing on the news and getting disappointed in the world, surfing and just kind of reading and whatnot, shopping comics or something like that, or reading comics, reading a book, something along those lines. Maybe watching a TV show or falling asleep on the couch. And I always find myself like just tired to the point where it's like, oh, it's effort to game. It's not effort to do these other things till I just kind of naturally fall asleep. So I'll go in spurts, but I've definitely been, aside from gaming with my son, who we've done a pretty decent enough amount of gaming in the last year or so. I haven't had the wherewithal to really get into some single player stuff. Now Ragnarok actually got its PC release date. I still haven't finished God of War. I'm still mostly through Batman Arkham Knight. But I need to just do it. Get back into some more games. Yeah, Spliffy, still no gaming in the theater. No, I game. So that I'll talk about. There's a lot of that in the video on Monday as well. But yeah, I game in there for a variety of reasons. The technicalities or the technical aspects of the display. Gaming on the G2 is just so good compared to gaming on a projector in terms of like latencies. 120 hertz VRR. It looks awesome. I don't feel the inclination to want to go down to the theater and sit there by myself a lot. Usually at night, sometimes my wife is in here because this other part of the room, this is her desk in the other corner opposite me. So sometimes she's in here doing her homeschool prep and other things like that. But if not, she's usually on the couch in there and I'm on the couch. And so I like to sit with her in the evening rather than do something that takes me into another room of the house and breaks that kind of just natural opportunity to just at least be in proximity of each other and interact. So that's a personal reason, but again, the technicality of it, the way that games run on the G2 is better than the size of the theater screen ultimately. And audio wise, yeah, I can give or take the surround sound. Because my audio system in there is built to the same level of fidelity that the theater is. It's just less speakers. Same vocals, still have 2 subwoofers, anthem processing, NAD amps. It's phenomenal, phenomenally good. So if we had projectors that did everything that the LG did, and it's incredibly hard as well to take one gaming PC and run it to both of those types of devices in the same way. I did the videos on it a little while back when the last time I bought a PS5, which I think was earlier this year or at the end of last year. I did experiment with an HDMI splitter and the concept of being able to have one console that routes to both zones. And that worked actually quite well. That is a real big feather in the cap of choosing console in my setup over PC in terms of having one unit, which means quick resume would work. I only have to buy like one SSD to add a bunch of storage to one console. I only have to download, manage, and administer one console. Where it would sit in the living room works great for controller access to the living room. And because my theater is one floor down directly below the living room, that console can stay behind the television and controllers work fine communicating to the gaming system behind the TV in the room up above. And provided I make an NZ projector upgrade here at some point, that would give me 4K 120 in the theater. And with the console, I don't think you really need the VRR. Basically run 4K 120. And in a lot of games, more than likely it would opt for the 40 FPS quality, the mix of quality performance mode. 40 FPS on 120 hertz refresh doesn't require VRR. So that would work, and it would work quite well. Same settings, all of that stuff would work. It can output multi-channel audio, and it would work just fine because the multi-channel would just get down mixed to 2-channel for the living room, but it would be multi-channel to the theater. So using the EasyQ splitter, I had the videos about it. That works really well. So that's another element that would bring me back to like PS5 would be really, really nice. The other thing that I've thought about doing, and I talked with Kenneth about this a bit, all about TKK, is if I did more gaming, and maybe with my son actually, an untapped genre of games that I've always enjoyed is the fighters, Street Fighter, etc. We really don't play any of those titles, um, but I'd really love to have like an arcade stand up. And if I did that, like it could be a PS5 based arcade stand up with two controls for fighters and that. So that would be something to do. And I think that kind of a setup lends itself better to being used with a console instead of the PC as well. So it's all choices and trade-offs, like what's going to work better, um, depending on what you're really trying to get out of the experience of it. If I actually caught up on games, if I actually caught up on the Sony first party games, I would certainly have a massive draw to wanting to game on console, especially with the confirmed 1 to 2 year lag time that's going to happen. So if I had played Spider-Man 2 already, if I had played both God of Wars already, I still haven't played Last of Us 2. So I'm way behind in the backlog, which makes PC gaming a little more tenable because I can play games at the rate they're coming out and not be caught up. But if I was caught up, I would have a hard time at the age of 47 wanting to wait 2 years for major stuff that I'm really interested to play, like Spider-Man and Wolverine and whatever else may be coming. Drop Zone saying, I've thought about PC gaming, just not sure if I want to go down the rabbit hole. Yep. I have an Xbox, just don't play it enough. Yep. That's another thing too. Quite honestly, I don't play my PC enough to justify it. If I were brutally honest with myself, thankfully my wife isn't. She's upstairs at the moment. But yeah, I mean, we play. That PC spends more time playing Lego and Overcooked than it does anything else. Minecraft, it runs Minecraft like a gem. I mean, my son, he can make a Minecraft world, and you can see in the horizon like everything. It's amazing, but it doesn't justify its cost at all in any way whatsoever. Julius asking, "Are we going to have TKK on your?" Yeah, yeah. Oh, excuse me. We've talked about it a bunch of times. So he's another creator friend for sure. He and I chat and text, and we may be back in physical proximity of each other at some point, depending on his plans coming up. So he's originally from Southeast Michigan, like I am. So yeah, good guy. Like his content. Back before I even started the channel, or earlier on in the life of the channel, he's like the one guy out there that would probably actually all this long conversation that we just had in my crazy council ideas, like he'd probably be on here agreeing with me for all that stuff. And like he asking, anyone know which version of Donkey Kong is the best? And he's actually serious. If you're gonna play games like that, what would you do? The easiest way to do it would be to buy a Switch and just subscribe to like Nintendo Online. And then you can play old school NES, Super Nintendo, and 64 versions and stuff of titles. I think it's a pretty good setup for that. All right, my throat is starting to parch. We're at an hour and a half, and I think we've hit all the topics that I was looking to hit. So I think we'll call it a night here. Thanks everybody for coming out. I appreciate the fun conversation, the dialogue, some of the challenge of my contentious, controversial opinions. Again, Techthusiasm is now an authorized certified Kaleidescape dealer. Pretty cool. And I'll say as well, that doesn't break my business relationship or my relationship with my other business partners. So my relationship with and recommendation to check out Audio Device absolutely still stands. They have all the cool stuff. All the other affiliates that are down there, of course, are available to you. Amazon, Best Buy, Target, Newegg, talking about PC gaming. Everybody getting ready to build these PCs, 5090 PCs, buy some GPUs as we get into the latter part of the year. You're going to do some purchasing on Newegg. Please use those affiliate links. All that stuff is so valuable. It really drives everything that I can do, giving me the ability to add more stuff, tinker with things and make more content about it. So it's all a super awesome virtuous cycle, and I appreciate all of your supports. So thanks everybody for coming out. Hello to all the regular friends and the new friends that popped up, and we'll be back in short order. So thanks so much, everybody. Have a good night.